Meet Striker Z09, who, after their brave efforts during the assault on Hereford base, has now been promoted to a full operator by the name of Rauora, which is probably the closest I'm going to get to be able to say that name because it is very hard for a Scottish person to roll their R like that. And her real name is Hāpai Iwini. She was born on the 11th of May in Christchurch, New Zealand, and is currently the age of 29. Now, she is the first operator to join Rainbow after the assault of Hereford base, and this is referenced heavily in her bio. So if you don't know that story, be sure to check out my other videos, and I'll explain it along the way here as well when it's relevant. But that is where her story does begin, because in the comic book for Operation Collision Point, when the Kerry's Legion initiate their assault on Hereford base, Blackbeard is aided by a recruit, specifically a striker, named Striker Z09. Not only does she assist Blackbeard in escorting the man, who is conducting a study on Rainbow on behalf of the GSAC, she also assists in saving Sense as well. And after the rubble had settled, Rainbow had found their new recruit. Quite poetic that when a bunch of recruits turned out to be Kerry's soldiers, a genuine legitimate recruit has managed to rise from the ashes. And she is originally from the New Zealand SAS and is now a part of the Viper Strike squad under Rainbow. Now let's take a look at her bio, which starts off with a quote saying, "Either you follow me out or I carry you out. It's your choice." Hāpai Iwini was born in Christchurch in the Rārata iwi to a firefighter father and a military sergeant mother. Following in both her parents' footsteps, she joined the New Zealand military, known as the Ngāti Tumatauenga, and I apologize to all Kiwis for how bad my pronunciations are. But continuing on, it says, notably, Iwini made captain after only 3 years, and following 2 attempts, she succeeded in the New Zealand Special Air Service trials. It is due to this achievement that she earned her Moko Kauae, which is the tattoo you can see on her face. She is a lifelong practitioner of Kaupapa Māori and continues to volunteer as a firefighter when not deployed. And aspects of her visual design actually play into this firefighter aspect, as she has a halogen bar on her back, which is a tool used by fire departments, as well as other rescue tools on her kit. And there'll be more aspects about firefighting when we look at her gadget evaluation, because that gadget is entirely evolved around fighting fires, and we'll get to that. But continuing on in her biography, it says, Iwini maintains a robust training regimen that extends into semi-professional rugby, a hobby for which she credits her outlier level performance scores in physical conditioning and situational awareness. Iwini was referred to Rainbow thanks to her exceptional performance in the Special Forces and underwent striker training where she broke an extraction course time record held since 2003. She gained full operator status following her heroic actions during the assault on Hereford base. Now let's move over to her psychological report from Captain Yumiko Imigawa, aka Habana, leader of the Viper Strike squad. And it says the following: Doc and I had natural disagreements about Hāpai Iwini's squad placement. Though, once I made my case, her designation to Viper Strike was obvious to us both. Her quick decision making and seamless cooperation with multiple operators during the Kerry's Legion's assault were critical to Rainbow's survival. Her efforts in the ensuing search and rescue were not just a testament to her compassion, but of her natural leadership in the face of an emergency. Although, outwardly, Rauora displays vigilance and strength, there is a core of vulnerability below the grit that will need attention. During our interview, she spoke at length about her husband and sons, and of her iwi, her tribe. Homesickness isn't uncommon among new operators, but she channels her thoughts of home, using them as ammunition on the field. When tasked with VIP protection, Rauora's first instinct is to place herself directly between the enemy and her charge. Although she claims that this behavior comes from her trusting her own skills and durability, I believe it's more from a lack of trust in others to do what is right for their own safety. While Rauora's operational success rate speaks for itself, this is a trait I will have to monitor. Her recklessness will often lead her to where the fighting is most intense, but she finds calm in the aftermath, no matter how fierce the battle. She calls it an inherited trait, one passed down through her lineage, her waka-papa, and that she has owned into instincts very few possesses. I wish Harry were still here to help me understand all of the nuances, but what matters to me in the end is the skill set she's acquired, and how it can help the squad get the job done. Rauora has started to settle in, especially with Thatcher, who she befriended during past joint operations with the SAS. Her familiar presence is easing his anxieties over Dokubi's disappearance, and the resulting calm is a boon to the squad. We will need our wits in the days to come. So that was the psychological report by Hibana, and I want to talk about that last little bit at the end there about Dokubi's disappearance, which we of course seen at the end of the cinematic, where Phobos was currently holding her hostage. Now, a bit of deeper R6 lore here, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have caught on to it, and that is the fact that Thatcher is actually very upset about this. Now, I imagine all operators are upset about this fact, but Thatcher and Dokubi especially were a storyline which came from one of the very first Siege cinematics, where he more so represented the older classic way, and she was more of the modern day. It showed both of them clashing together, but eventually respecting each other. And with them over time still continuing to be very close with each other, it's especially nice that they focused on Thatcher here being quite distraught about Dokubi's disappearance. Now, before we take a look at her gadget evaluation, let's look at her training and relevant experience. So for her training, she has specialized urban firefighter training, Ngāti Tumatauenga BMT and officer training, the NZ SAS special training, joint exercises with the British SAS and the Australian SASR, and of course what we know her most from is the Rainbow Striker training. Her relevant experience consists of a single tour of Afghanistan, Operation Rārata, which is the regional assistance mission to Solomon Islands, which began in 2003 in response to a request for international aid by the Governor General of Solomon Islands and ended in June of 2017. We then have Operation Burning Feather and Operation Reach. These two I couldn't find anything on, so there's a chance I'm potentially missing something of these, so I'll update you if I find anything more. And we also have the Hereford base defense. Now let's move over to the gadget evaluation of her DOM, deployable OmniLink mesh panel launcher. This is done by both Rauora and Mira, and here's what she has to say about her own gadget. Right, Mira's hovering and time is of the essence, so I'll get right to the meat of it. My DOM, that's deployable OmniLink mesh, was originally conceived to control the flow paths of house fires. With the reach of the launcher, you could completely snuff out a blaze in a room by cutting off the oxygen feed through the doorways. It's a trick I learned from my Para, but honestly, it's just generally good fire safety to know. Mira's just informed me to get a move on and discuss battlefield utility. As I probably should have said, all models are flame retardants, and the new one stopped any bullet or punch I've thrown at it. Perfect for separating hostiles from their hostages or blocking lines of sight. Get enough of them out there, and you've got a maze the bad guys can't shoot their way out of, leaving them wide open to a flanking maneuver. The whole apparatus is hardly my own design anymore, but I'm happy to let the 7th make it the best it can be. Mira and I have been prototyping non-stop since the attack and moving fast. What she's turned my launcher into is really something special. So long as I get the aim right above the doorways, the adherence system does most of the job for me. That means no more running in and finishing the work myself. She's putting the finishing touches on now, and with any... oh, well, it's done. Time for final calibrations. Wish me luck. And so everybody, that concludes the bio and lore background of the New Zealand operator Rauora. I think it's really cool how big of an event the assault on Hereford was, that we have new operators stemming from it. Of course, Dokubi being captured at the end of that cinematic as well has an impact on the operators. Thatcher was mentioned, and it also allows her to come in this sort of place as well and give some comfort to operators, which allows her to have quite a cool introduction into the game itself. As well as this, I don't think many people actually realize that this is technically a firefighter operator. Her gadget and these panels are used to snuff out fires, cut the oxygen from the room. That is why her panels go all the way to the bottom of the floor, but allow drones to enter by opening up. A really cool aspect which is beneficial in game, but works in a lore perspective when it comes to fighting fires. So be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this biography and background. I personally think she is a very cool operator, both the way she was introduced to the game and her background itself, and we're going to be seeing more of her in Year 10 Season 1. So be sure to let me know your thoughts, drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, catch you all later, have an incredible rest of your day, I love you all, peace.